Hey, welcome back to another interview. Now, thank you so much for locking in with us every Sunday. As you know, now we're going to be going for hopefully about a year of these. So stay tuned. Today, I have an amazing guest, Miss Kathi. Kathi, how are you?
I'm fine, Tony. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for joining us and just bringing your heart and service and energy to the Blessed Tribe and everyone else. Now, where do you reside?
I reside in Dallas, Texas. I was born in East Texas, but I grew up in Dallas, and so I call this my home.
Okay, now when you say East Texas, what city were you raised in?
Well, I was raised in Dallas, but I came here when I was 4 years old. So I was born in Lufkin, Texas, which is the part of Texas that has the sunny pines. So I consider myself blessed to be born there, but I love living in Dallas. I grew up in the city.
Okay, so Lufkin. Now, I cannot say that I've heard of that.
Lufkin. No, it's not popular, but it's near one of the oldest cities in Texas, which is Nacogdoches. That's where my mom was from, and she migrated to Lufkin in her early years, and so that's where I was born. That's where she met my father. So that's where I started.
Okay. Well, when I hear a city that I haven't heard of before, it makes me want to visit there to see what it's like and just to see why haven't I heard of it. So it sounds like is it a small town?
It's a small town, but I know you've been to Dallas. I know that,
I have,
right?
yes.
Okay, well, that's where I reside, and I can't wait for you to come back.
Yes, now Dallas, I have spoke there a couple times, but I actually fly to Dallas almost every month because one of the teams I work with is in Waco, Texas.
Okay.
So you got to fly to Dallas. Now, when was it that you bumped into me online?
I found you actually on Facebook, Tony, several years ago. It's been several. I don't remember how many now, but I've been listening to you a long time. You got my attention, just your input about relationships and men, and I had never really heard anyone be that down to earth, that direct, that sincere about the behavior of men in relationships. And I was just blown away. And I would share a lot of the topics with my husband that you would discuss. And I was just very impressed with that. And I started following you on Facebook. And then years later, I knew that I always had a spirit to encourage others. I love talking to people. I love encouraging others. And when I saw your reference to your life coaching certification, I had been thinking about that for a long time and being very interested in it as well. And then in 2020, while I was working from home, I thought, you know what? I'm going to take that course. And so I did. I stepped out in faith, and I think I signed up for it. It may have been in April, but I finished the course in like one day. I didn't stop. I just went straight through the course. I got my certificate, and that was a very proud moment for me because, my husband and well, I've been married 35 years, so I'm a seasoned wife. And so after putting our daughters through college and graduate school, I really felt it was time to invest in myself and into my goals and my dreams. And one of those was to be a life coach. And that's why I took that step in 2020. So I've been certified for 3 years, but I believe I've been coaching people and encouraging people my whole life. I mean, whether it's on my job, at my church, I believe I have a message for women. And my life coaching area that I focus on mainly is emotional well being, emotional intelligence, emotional wellness. So that's my goal, to help women become emotionally, not just emotionally strong, but also emotionally intelligent, learning how to manage our emotions. Because as women, we tend to be emotional. And I think we should be prepared to manage those in a way that's productive and prevents us from becoming weighed down with emotional baggage or emotional stress. So that's kind of where I am. And you have been a great mentor to me, and I just appreciate the work that you put in, and you continue to invest in us as mentors and life coaches once we are certified. So I really admire you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. And you know what? Your life speaks to your emotional intelligence because to be married 35 years, that takes emotional intelligence.
Yes, it does. And it's a learning experience in itself, which I know that you know, and you and your beautiful wife, y'all are a perfect example of the phase and stage in marriage that you're in. So I've been there and done that. Our daughters are adults now, so it's quite a journey, and it does take a lot of emotional intelligence.
Yeah, and that's amazing that you raise daughters and you say put them through school and all of that. So it sounds like your marriage breeded a place of success. Like you cultivated where they can grow up and go on to do something for themselves versus ending up in the streets somewhere. And then now
Yes.
you taking and investing in you. And I love now you got a little swag to yourself. Now tell me about this the hair and the glasses, was this something that was after an empty nester or this was always?
Always.
Okay,
Yeah. I came to the table with all of that.
I see.
I'm sure my husband can attest to that. Yes, I do have a swag, if you want to call it that. I just call it being Kathy. Yeah.
That's amazing. My mama name is Kathy, but with a C and a Y. So and that right there is interesting in itself too, because yours is K with an I, right?
Yes. And I've been called Kathy with an I my whole life, even at my wedding. So I've always said Kathy with an I. So the minister that married us, he teased me about that throughout our vows. He said, "And do you, Kathy, with an I?" And I said, "Yes." So yes, I'm Kathy with an I.
That's amazing. And now, are you any kin to the author, to the famous author with your same last name?
No, I'm not. That's my married name. My
Oh,
maiden name is actually Carter.
oh,
So
okay, okay,
Kathy Carter.
okay. Because I know Morrison is an author that's famous with that name.
Yeah, Toni Morrison, I think is her
Yeah,
name.
yeah. And so now, in your coaching, emotional wellness, emotional intelligence is what would be the earliest age of a young lady that you would work with, and what would you say is the oldest that you feel you can work with? What's that age range?
I can definitely start. I normally start at the teenage level, going on into adulthood, because I believe whatever age a person starts to recognize that they have, an emotional issue, whether it's stress or emotional overwhelming, being overwhelmed emotionally, if they're mature enough to recognize that in them, then I'm able to meet them where they are, whether it's a teenager, young women, middle-aged women, women my age. I consider myself a seasoned woman. And so I can pretty much relate to every level that they may be at emotionally. When I became an adult, I recognized that I was able to at that time recognize my own emotional issues, whether it was from my past or my present or in my marriage or in my working environment. So once you at that point, I believe you're able to express what your issues or concerns may be. I love to call them concerns rather than issues. And so I think if you're able to express that and identify it, I can definitely coach you to the level that you're trying to achieve in your emotional wellness.
Mm, I see. And that is needed. That is very needed because that from there is like the river flows. Everything flows from that center of our
Right.
emotions. And now, do you prefer one-on-one sessions or group sessions?
I can do either, Tony. I've started with one-on-ones, and I've also done a few couples because they wanted to address those concerns in their relationship. And then I've talked to many women who were married as well. and I can also talk to groups. I mean, I have, I guess the way I promote emotional wellness, I have a really a courses that could apply to one-on-one and groups as well. So I set it up the way it's needed in that moment. Like if a group of people want to join, I'm also working on a master class as well. So I will be available to do both or either and all of them, all of the above, basically.
Right. And that's good because, having a group too. And one of the things I always tell every coach is after you done had like 10 clients, that it is good to kind of email everybody on a group and say, hey, we're launching this group program for the next 4 weeks on such and such. If you want to join, click this link. Because I could feel that you also are like a teacher, a leader, and that you can kind of lead a group as well. Now, for those who want to book a session with you, where should they go?
To your My Mentor website,
Okay.
Tony Gadsden's mentor website. Yes, that's where I started and that's where I want to continue.
Awesome. So to everybody, if right now, if you know you struggling emotionally already, click the link in the description box and you're going to see Kathy's mymentor.life link. So that way you can look at a calendar, look at the rate, find a time for you and book that time. And now, Miss Kathi, as you are doing this, what do you see for the future of your emotional wellness coaching business? Like, are you thinking about some books and some retreats or conferences, or where's your heart leading you?
Yes, Tony, I am definitely interested and available to do all of that, all of the above, whether it's a church conference, whether it's a speaking engagement at a school or a workplace. I believe that our emotions, everything that we do and go through, Tony, affects our emotions. It doesn't matter what it is. And I believe that our emotions affect who we are, who we're with, where we are trying to go, or where we've been. Our emotions affect us 100% in every area of our life. And I believe that to become emotionally stable, and it doesn't mean that you're necessarily unstable, but it means that you're trying to grow in a certain area in your emotions. I definitely like to focus on overcoming negative emotions, which could be anger, bitterness, unforgiveness. All of those affect us, not only emotionally, but those type of negative emotions can affect our health as well. And it really impacts our health more than we think. So I am available to speak one-on-one, group sessions, like I said, in church conferences, public speaking engagements. I am available. And I definitely want to help women and men, if necessary, come into grips with who they are emotionally and where they stand emotionally, because we have to learn how to manage our emotions in order to get along with other people, in order to grow and just make our relationships and interactions with other people on a level to where you can handle anything in a calm way and an emotionally intelligent way before you say or do something that you may regret at some point in your life.
Mhm. Now, what was it like? What was the catalyst for you that kind of pushed you this out? Because you could just be marriage coach. You definitely qualify to be a marriage and relationship coach. You could be doing, health and wellness in another arena, not just
Mhm.
emotional. It's so many areas that your life experience, being a mother, being a wife, that you could coach in. What would you say, or can you identify what was like that catalyst that said, I want to work in the emotional wellness space?
I think the catalyst, Tony, was I know that we focus a lot on mental health. And, they say mental health is the new wealth. And I understand that. But I also believe that being mentally prepared to address your challenges and overcome your past or your concerns is one area. But like I said, everything that we do and go through affects our emotions. And mentally, we have to get our mind right. And I believe that starts by getting into the word of God and renewing our mind. but we also need to renew our emotions along with that. And like I said, because so I know many people, whether it's in my family, whether it's in my friends, I just know a lot of people that have suffered a lot of emotional damage. And that's where my catalyst began because I knew that in order to overcome those challenges or get through those situations that has affected you from your past, you have to be emotionally intelligent to learn how to process all of that because it can come from several areas of life, and I am focusing on those areas with that particular client that may have led to their emotional damage or their emotional insecurities. Like I said, emotionally everything affects our emotions. It really does.
Right, I see. And that right there. Now, when you think about this, some people they want to do the one-on-one coaching and, some people cannot do a group session. What about the book space? What are you working on in that area?
But my book, I'm focusing on my subtitle is actually How to Overcome Your Emotional Damage That Affects Who You Are, How You React, and Where You're Going. So that's kind of the subtitle because I'm focusing on in the book those things that may have led you down the emotional, imbalance that you may feel you're experiencing. But I'm also giving people a path, a journey to come from that because it is affecting who you are, even if you may not realize it. It affects how we interact with other people. And it definitely, affects how we react and respond to others. So we start there, and that will help, I guess, everyone who takes a session with me or a course to overcome those issues that have prevented them from having, emotional intelligence and healthy relationships.
Now, have you titled the book yet? Because you said
Yes, it's
what?
the title is emotions. And
Okay.
then yes, emotions.
Yeah,
And then the subtitle, like I said, is, using your emotional intelligence to help who you are, how you respond, and how you react to others.
I see. And right there now, I know you know what you're doing, but that is a lane. Like you really tapping on something that is gonna be huge. Cause that
Yeah.
right there, that
Yes. And I started like I said, I'm on Instagram, but I really got involved with social media after watching you, of course. And as soon as I got certified, Tony, I hit the road. I mean, I started right away. I started my business Facebook page. I opened an Instagram account, which I hadn't done any of that until I became certified. And what I did when I got certified, I knew that I was interested in people and their emotional balance, but I was also interested in perfecting my gift. I believe this is God's calling for me because, like I said, everyone was talking about mental health, but no one was really discussing emotional health until recently. I would say maybe the last few years. And that's the area I chose because I felt that was equally as important as our mental health. And so I know it's a deep lane, but someone has to go there. And I want it to be me.
yeah, that is amazing. And now, do you think one day your daughters might be inspired to become coaches, or you think they done seen enough and they just gonna do their own thing?
Well, my oldest daughter, she's actually a mental health therapist.
Wow.
So she majored in psychology. She got her master's, and I can honestly say it's her God-given calling. She loves it. She's great at it, and I just give God the glory because she kind of chose that direction herself in college. And she's always been really, smart and but a little shy. And I just thought, are you sure that's what you want to do? But she really has a love for it. She stays busy, if you can only imagine. She she stays very busy. She's actually on vacation this week because she does need it. She does need to, wind down here and there because mental health is it's a lot of work. But she's doing good in it. My Our younger daughter, I would consider her an emotional person, but she chose another route. She chose the legal field, like my husband, and she's doing well also. So they're pretty grounded, and they tell me all the time how, I guess, being there for them emotionally as a mom has really helped them where they are right now. So I believe I have the gift of that, and I want to help as many women as I can, and whoever needs emotional intelligence, I'm willing to help them achieve that.
Yes, yes. And now I'm gonna tell you something else that I could see on you and sense it is, and this could be something you and your daughter could do, is a office in Dallas. Because Dallas got some beautiful co-working spaces and some beautiful office space, like the WeWork and the
Yeah.
industrials, where it's all nice and match your personality. Because they have like the black trim and the glass from floor to ceiling. But I feel like one of the things we are missing as coaches is that in-person element. And with you working with ladies and you helping them, I feel like sitting down in front of you, even
Mhm.
feeling your energy and your presence in the room could be very beneficial. Have you thought about opening up an office for our Dallas viewers that want to come and do in-person sessions? Have you thought about that?
I actually have, Tony. It's amazing that you said that. That gives me a confirmation because my daughter and I had discussed it at one point. Like I said, she has a ton of clients. She does virtual and in-person classes and sessions. And I do the same. I do mostly virtual, but I am willing to do in person in office. And there are several buildings, to do that with. And I still work full time in my day job, but my love and my heart is in life coaching. And so I am definitely planning that. And I could definitely see that happening. And my daughter, like I said, my daughter, she stays pretty busy, but she's definitely involved. She works along with Jada Jackson as well. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her, but she's in Dallas and she also does certification courses. But I would definitely be interested in that, Tony. So I would definitely keep you posted on that, and you are inspiring me to do that because it's always another level. I mean, none of us started like at the top, and it's not that that's my goal. My goal is to serve others, and I'm proud of the work I do. I love the work I do, and so I'm looking forward to hanging in there and taking it as far as God takes me.
Mm, that's amazing. And I love that because we need it. And I'm thinking about one day opening up in person too, but my presence and energy isn't as strong as yours in the sense of, you command the space. See me, people get it around me and they run over me. They'll be sitting here 4 hours and paid me. And so, but I know they're gonna feel you and respect you. And okay, I've been an hour. I paid you for an hour. All right, let's come to a close. So I want to see that too because we need that. We need more coaches that can be in person like therapists. And it's amazing to hear that it runs in the family too. And sometimes our children don't know where they really got it from,
Mhm.
and didn't even realize it that you've been a coach your whole life. And so that's the beauty of it. Now, when emotions comes out, we have to bring you back so that we
Yeah.
can talk about that and get that out there. Now, when you think about the next couple of years, have you thought about retreats yet?
I have thought about retreats. I had a conversation with a friend of mine who actually lives in Louisiana, and we have talked about that. So that's coming down the pipe as well. But I
Oh,
would like to do something local first and just to try, do it for my first time. But I do believe it's something I'm capable of doing. I do a lot of leadership related things in the office that I still work. I work full time in the office in a law firm, and I really love that area of my life. But many of them have told me over the years that I have a presence whenever I speak or whenever anything that I'm involved in, I've been told that. And like I said, in 2020, I decided it's time to step out on faith, get certified. Because, like I said, I believe in perfecting the gift that I already was born with. but I've always been able to, to get there also by perfecting my gift. I don't want to be, I want to have the knowledge to go with it, to go with the gift and the training. So yes, that's definitely my goal.
Well, what I want to get from you as well, and you may not have it right now, but by the time this goes up, you can have it, is an email address that is, just specifically for coaching that people can reach out to. And for those who may not be ready for a session, but they want you to have their email. So when you launch in-person coaching and the retreats and the book, you're able to put all those emails on a list and email everybody. So for those of y'all who are watching this, check the description box for all of Kathy's contact. So whether that's just her My Mentor or email address, so that you can stay in touch, because we cannot have enough coaches, because people are all spread out all over the world and people in different places in their life. And
Yes.
I love the different specializations, because someone may say, well, I don't need business coaching right now with Tony, or relationship coaching. My emotions kind of all over the place and I'm thinking too much and I'm not doing this. Let me
Yeah.
talk to Miss Kathi. So thank you so much for coming on here and sharing your gift with us. Now, are there any last words that you have for the people? Anything you want to share?
Yes, I would like to just inspire everyone because that's what I do. I consider myself an emotional, motivational, and inspirational speaker. And as a life coach, on my mentor description page, I think I checked relationships, marriage, insecurity. I focused on the three of those areas of emotional intelligence. And I was going to ask you at some point, would you have an emotional wellness coaching category on the website, on your My Mentor website? And so that's why I chose emotional life coaching, because I do know how important that is. It's a very valuable area of life and it affects us in every area of life. And I want to be able to help everyone or anyone who's seeking that to be able to access it. And I don't mind being that instrument. I want to be there for others.
That's amazing. I'm going to talk to my developer, the coder, to see if we can add that on there. I thought we had emotional intelligence on there, but I have to double check. So if we do have that, I'll let you know. And then if
Okay.
I can figure out how we can add that, because and that right there is also another sign. When you go and you sign up as a coach on a site and there's 100 different categories and you don't see your category, that lets you know you called to that space, that you are a pioneer and that's your lane. So I'm going to look at all those that we have and see if any of them that hasn't been, published to the site, so we can.
Okay.
And thank you so much, Miss Kathy, for joining us. And God bless you. We wishing you the best. And to everybody who's watching this, make sure, remember, set your notification bell. Every Sunday, I'm introducing you to a new amazing person from our group here with the Blessed Tribe, Tony Gass's Academy, and My Mentor Life. God bless you, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Tony. It's been a pleasure. It's an honor to meet you and work with you.
Thank you so much.